Hey y'all, it's me again, Joey. Today we're going to be mixing up a little bit of sugar water. The bees, they're not starving. They've got food in their boxes, but we they're actually having to fight off other bees trying to come in all the time because no kind of flow is going. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to make up a little sugar water and let it sit overnight and put it out for open feeding. I won't do any internal feeding right now. If I have to, I'll do that later. I say internal feeding, or with quart jars or buckets or whatever. But what I'm going to do is just make up enough to put a little out in each yard, or most of the yards. And I'm not really going to feed them a heavy syrup like 2-to-1 right now, and I know 1-to-1 would be a little too thin. I'm gonna go somewhere in the middle there. Just guessing if I got it right in my head. I'm gonna use 100 pounds right now of sugar, and a 2-to-1 would be 100 pounds of sugar and 50 pounds of water. I want to go around 1.5-to-1 or something like that. So I'm going to use about 75 pounds of water and 100 pounds of sugar. Now I know there's probably some out there say that's too thick, that's too thin, or you're not just right on it. It don't matter. I'm just going to get it where this thing here, if y'all can see that, I'm going to get it where this mixer will work it. 2-to-1 gets a little heavier anyway. I'm gonna do like the 1.5-to-1 and mix it up. And if I think I need to make it thicker, I can just add more sugar. But that'll get divided up in my main yard and 3 smaller yards. And I kind of watch what happens there and just mix up some more. I've got more sugar. I try not to use no more than I have to, but discussions has been coming up about preparing for the fall. Well, in my mind, preparing for the fall started in July when I left all my double deeps full of honey. I didn't take anything that was down in the brood boxes, and I made sure there was food there before I took everything at the top. I might have not showed everything I did on video, but I always try to leave those double deeps full of honey. And you get that gradual, it's almost like a instant drop off in July, but you still got a little gradual downfall coming in. And they always seem like finding just enough to get by, but they do use up a good bit of that honey. Fall kicked in, it did pretty good. It went out quicker than I was hoping because of the lack of rain. It's raining right now, but that fall flow here is cut off, and it's a little different from July when it's off, it's off. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up. I'm gonna let y'all come along and watch it work. I know you've seen it before, but we're gonna go do it together. Y'all ready? Let's get started. All right, figuring on, I don't know if I already mentioned it, but figuring about 1.5-to-1 is around 9 gallons of water. So that's what I'm going to go with, give or take some. But I've got my little meter right here. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. It's kind of dark in here. But got my little meter there, and it's fairly accurate. I'm going to go ahead and put 9 gallons in here and get it churning, and then we'll add the sugar. Huh. We'll just let that lay there and run. All right, when it gets to 9 gallons, I'll be back. If I wasn't running this nozzle, it'd go a lot faster. Too much reflection, huh? All right, we're at 8.6, 7, 8, 8.9. Nine gallons. Actually, it's 9.1, but I fumbled a little bit. That's good. If you can see down there, it's over, well over the 90 there, so it should churn pretty good. Now, I didn't use hot water this time. The last time I did a video on this thing, I used hot water, and of course it helped it dissolve a little bit better. All right, I'm gonna grab a sugar, and I'm gonna set the camera up here somehow where y'all can see me fumble around with this mess. But I'm gonna grab a sugar. The first one I'm gonna use, and you know, y'all, you've always had trouble with like these 25-pound bags leaking a little bit of sugar granules, but not too bad enough to fuss about. It's got now where just about every one of them's got a place somewhere it's wanting to pour out. So things are just getting uglier and uglier with this sugar water business. I had to start buying some kind of bulk. All right, let's see. I'm going to kind of turn it this way a little bit where y'all can kind of see from the side. I think I should be able to pour it in here. But that one, the split is in the center of that bag. Let's see what we can do. Got the cart ahead of the horse. Let's see how long it takes it to prime up. All right, we're going good. This one had a hole right in the middle right here. It's funny how you can never get it all out, but all you got to do is walk across the floor with it and it all comes out. See there? You should actually go a lot slower than what I'm going here. The thicker it gets, the slower I gotta pour it probably. About ready to change blades on that thing. I'm gonna let it run a few minutes like that, and then I'll put that last bag in. You can hear it when it piles up a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna wash the top of that motor off now. Try not to use very much water to change my ratio. Like a quart of water is gonna make a difference. Alright, y'all, we're just gonna let it run for a few minutes and come back and look at it. Probably 30 minutes, and then stop it and let it settle and see what it looks like. And I'll probably come back and run it a little bit more. But we'll continue this video. I'll just show you tomorrow after it sets a few hours and make sure that all the granulars are dissolved and it'll be a lot more clear than it is now, instead of that kind of white milky looking look. We'll be back in the morning. Hey y'all, I told y'all I'd be back the next morning. That didn't happen. I come out here and looked at it. I didn't have time to do any video this morning. I come out and looked at it, and I wanted to do a little short video of what I saw, but I needed to go. I wanted to go get some stuff that I needed, and it's been one of those days. It took all day to do a couple of things. I wanted to pick up some new buckets, kind of like this one in the corner. Let me get it down and show it to you if I can reach it. A long stretch. I know y'all have seen me use this before if you go back far enough, but it's got the screw-on lid. Something down in there, but I don't know if y'all can see that or not. This thing needs bleaching. It's got like moldy or something. I got holes drilled all the way around inside these little cavities here, everywhere but where the handle is, and it works kind of like a bitty feeder. You fill it up with the sugar water and put your lid back on it. Just turn it upside down, and the suction catches it and it stops it from overflowing, and it just fills up here. I wanted to make me a few more like that. I've got buckets, but I just don't have those kind of lids. But I went to several places and they didn't have them, and I don't know why. But anyway, I got a different kind of container, and we'll look at it in a minute. But what I wanted to show you is what the water looks like. It hadn't really changed from this morning because the pump hadn't been ran. So if you look down in here, you can see around the edges, it's got that granular, still a little bit of sugar there. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that pump on and let it run some more. And I'll show you what my next step is gonna be. almost as clear as the pool water. I'm gonna roll this over there out of the way, set up on that table to do this next project. Now we're gonna make the new feeders, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do that and what I got to make them with. Get my little strainers out of the way. Put them over here. I got some new totes, and actually I've got several of them, and I figured if they didn't work for this, maybe I could use them for storage and put up here on these shelves. They'll just perfectly fit there, just barely, but I think they'll work. But these are, let me get my glasses on. These are 10-gallon storage. They're not cheap, but they're not real expensive. Now, I've already looked at these one time before, and what I didn't like about it, for what I'm using it for, it's made good to make it stack, but what I'm using it for, it's going to be out in the weather feeding bees, so this is going to fill up. So I'll probably still have to get an old cover or a piece of plywood or something and cover that up just to keep it from filling up with water and drowning bees. But that's neither here nor there. It's over yonder somewhere. What I'm gonna do is get my hole saw, and probably just this location and this location. And the reason I say that, there's no water draining here, but there is here. Water can drain out, and it'll drain right down the side. But here, and on this side, here and here, will be good. Now, if I have to, I can actually do another one on this side and this side. I may go ahead and do that. I'm gonna look at the structure of the box after I drill those 4 and see what I need to do. But these things, I didn't pull the lid off, the handle off. These things, they grab a hold pretty good. I'll put that back on later. But anyway, let me get my tools set up. I don't know, this is my 2 3/4 that I use to drill jar lid holes. It's a 70 millimeter. 71 millimeters, pretty hard to find. I can find the cheaper ones, but every place I've been, for some reason, I couldn't find a good heavy duty 71. I could find one that's usable for a few times. But since we're not putting jar lids in it, I've got my handy dandy little electrician's Klein hole saw. And this is a 2.5, 64 millimeters. I think that'll be big enough. I can put one pretty close to the top right here, another one right here, and that'll give me, I'm used to using 5-gallon ones anyway, so this is a 10, so I'll still get several gallons of food in there just doing it right here. But anyway, that's what we're going to try to do. Let's see what we got. I've got another older hole saw that I use for doing stuff like this with, and try not to use my electrical one too much, but since it's plastic, I'll be fine, because this is actually, I got it to drill in metal boxes, electrical boxes. Try to get all the, some of it's going to go out on the floor here, but I'm just going to bump it up against the lip, eyeball it, and go for it. Well, I was lining up with this but it's to that edge. I lined up with this. It's in the middle, so we're going to get right here. It sent mess everywhere, didn't it? And that was just the weight of the drill. We got to clean the honey house up now. As if it didn't need cleaning up. Somewhere right in there. What a mess. Y'all think we ought to put them on the end too? Tell me what you'd do. I can always put them in, but I can't take them out. Alright, this video was shot the next day. It dawned on me after I'd already stopped recording yesterday evening, after I drilled the first box. There was this thin plastic like this, and I knew better than this anyway, but if you drill backwards, it will actually, I'm going to start the hole forward. If you drill backwards, it'll be a much cleaner cut. A lot cleaner. If you do this, just keep that in mind. I've got a whole drum packed full of straw, but I'm going to try not to use straw. I will if I have to. I've used it before in buckets and it works okay, but I'm just not a big fan of using straw. That's all I can say. But I picked this up. I wanted to get something actually thicker, more of the board type instead of just the blanket. But I wanted to try to use something for a float. Now, will this work? I don't know. I have never used it before. So, what I figured I would do is cut pieces big enough just to lay in here and float up and down. Now, it may not float good enough to hold bees up. That would be my only issue. If it don't, I'm not out with just a few bucks, but it was worth the try. I'm going to grab my rule and I'm going to measure the bottom because this thing is tapered. I'll tell you what I'll do. I got it right here. I could actually go by the width this way to here, and a little bit wider there. I should have just left it folded and cut some. That'd been too easy. So this is actually like a pouch. I think that's what it actually said on there. But I'm not going to use it as a pouch. I will cut it right in here. Scissors. I will cut it right in here. I know y'all can't see it. I'm going to have to straighten it up a little bit anyway. It's beekeeping, y'all. Ain't no science to it. I think that's going to be a little bit too thin. I may have to lay 2 of them in there. Now that's skinny at the top, but it won't get hung up and it'll float down there. Let's see what it'll do. This is probably the stupidest idea I've ever had. Get my water hose out the way. It's probably still got water in it. We lay it right over here. That in anyway. Can y'all see? It might stick to the bottom. Alright, we almost run out the hose. But it's floating, but it's just, I just don't know if that's gonna work. The bees get sticky on that or what. I mean, they climb around on straw. I may try it when the weather's gone. Right now, I mean, the bees flew a little bit today, but it was showering on and off. It floats pretty good. I just wanted something, a 1/4 inch thick would be good. But even if I had to put 2 of them in there, or just, you know, make it twice as big and fold it. I'm thinking it's gonna work. 2 of them's even better. It's funny how 2 of them done better than 1. Let's see. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna try with the 1 to start with. And I'll be there watching the bees. So I think I'm gonna try that. What do y'all think? You think it'll work? Put down in the comments. Okay, y'all. It is the next day. Pretty sunshiny day. We've had a good rain for a couple days, showering on and off, and got the ground pretty wet, so I'm satisfied. I think it'll help a lot. But anyway, today we're gonna pump a little bit of sugar water in a couple buckets. And I'm gonna take one of those totes and set it in my main yard out there and see how it works before I set all the others up, because I may have to either get something else that floats better or just use my pine straw up and get it done and change it from there. I've already had this spinning a little bit this morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and hook my water hose up, and my truck is right out the door, so I'm just gonna take 5 gallons for one of those totes. I'm gonna do half a bucket here and a half a bucket there to make it easy for me to carry, and we'll put what I need in each one of them, cap them up. I'll set them in the truck, and I'll meet y'all in the bee yard. This is wide open right now. I've got this on. It may let a little bit come through. We'll go ahead and clear that line. Get all the air out of it. With this pump, you can actually restrict it a little bit. Some pumps you can't deadhead like that. But I can't really shut it off now, though. I'd have to give it a little bit to go. I think all the air's out of it. We circulating syrup. Alright, let me set the camera up on the buckets. Now, we talked about this in class. Well, it wasn't class. We talked about this in the one of the bee meetings. Me and Mike Berry was talking, and I remember growing up when I was taught how to estimate at a half a container. If you tilt it to the bottom, the water's at the bottom, right down there, and up here, that's actually a half a container. So I didn't charge any extra for that information. All right, I'm gonna check this one a little bit and see where it's at. I'm gonna say that's close enough. All right, those are pretty much even. So I got at least 5 gallons. Okay, y'all, this is where I'm going to put this tote. It's pretty close to the road. It's on my property. It'd be hard for passerbyers to even see it. When you turn around, I did it here because it's coming kind of in the shade. I hope that car don't bother y'all. But you can see my bee yard over there. I'll do a zoom in shot on that and see if you can see them. But it's just a little bit over 100 yards, and I'm gonna try this one here. And I actually was gonna get a couple blocks and put on there, but I'm just gonna do it on the ground right now because it's all guesswork for me doing it this way. So let me get set up and we'll go ahead and put the sugar water in there. I didn't bring but one of these. I figured I'd try one first and then go from there. But I'm going to look for 1/4 inch stuff. I think that'd work great. Yeah, with those big holes, I might could get, that's 5 gallons, I might could get 6 or 7 in there. And I made this the size of the bottom. I may end up having to do something a little bit different. Just make it a little bit bigger. Because they may get sticky on there. But we'll check it. I got plenty of straw I can throw in it. Well, that's probably going to be it for this video. If it works, I'll close it with the bees working it and getting the sugar water out of it. If it fails, I'll add on to it and see what kind of adjustments were made. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Okay, y'all, it's been about 3 days, I guess, since this was put out here, and we had a little bit of a fail. The first day was pretty good, and the second day was pretty good, with a lot more bees on it. But after all the bees, there's 20 plus hives close to this one, and after, I guess, all the hives found it, it just got to be too much for that little float, and we had some mortality. That may be normal here, I don't know, because I've never used these, but that's a little much for me. I brought a little bit more than 5 gallons. I really want to put more feeders out here. I'd like to have 2 or 3 scattered around. And I like those bucket feeders. I just hadn't been able to find those lids. It just makes them work for it a little bit more. And you don't have near the mortality, hardly any. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the pine straw. Push it down good and let it, make sure it's got plenty in there, because I don't know how much of this I gotta have either. They'll find a way in there, I guess. I can see it in there now. I'll watch that a little bit. I ought to lay this on there too. Let's see what this does. I just put a little bit of pine straw on top of here. If it rains, they can kind of get up on it and get out. Debbie wrapped this thing up again in a few minutes. It was dry. Okay, that's where we're at. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.